Hello everyone! Welcome to another fun video. I'm going to show you what we're going to make today. We are going to make this adorable little, it's not really a box because it's got some open sides, but on the inside there is a little hand sanitizer from Bath & Body Works. It is so cute. This is a really great gift you can give to teachers, especially the beginning of the year. This would make a great coworker gift. Anybody would love this gift. So this is what we're going to make today. I'm going to show you the hand sanitizers that I found at Bath & Body Works that completely inspired me to do this. And we're going to do this fun paper piecing technique. I'm coming to you a day early. Normally I'll set my videos to go up on Wednesday, but I wanted to come a day earlier this week on Tuesday, July 23rd, because today is a free shipping day. Now, if you spend $75 in my online store, you're going to get free shipping all day today. It is only for one day though, so don't wait until tomorrow. Get that order in today. I have a host code in the video description, so make sure you check that out. There's extra bonuses for you if you use that host code. And don't forget today, during the month of July, you can also earn for bonus days. For the bonus days promotion going on. With every $50 you spend, you get a bonus days coupon. That's a $5 coupon that you can use on any order in August. So spend over $50, you're going to get a bonus days coupon. Spend over $75, you're going to get free shipping. Use that host code, you're going to get additional bonuses, and all the details are in the video description, or you can hop over to my blog where all of those details are there as well. The bonus days coupons, you can earn as many as you want. There's no limits. If you spend $100, you're going to get that free shipping, and you're going to get 2 bonus days coupons for $10 to spend in August. So don't miss out. And we're going to jump into the project. Make sure you're shopping today though, because today is the only day for free shipping. Bonus days will go through the end of January, but today is the only day for free shipping. Okay, let's jump into our project. So this adorable little hand sanitizer project, it is so cute. I think that I've seen other people make sanitizer holders like this in the past. I think I've made some in the past like this. It's just, you know, the Bath & Body Works hand sanitizers are, you know, super classic. Everybody loves making these for gifts. So I always look for fun little scents. And then I found these. So this is the Sweet Orange Blossom and the Fresh Emphalte. I don't know how to say that. Lemon. So this coordinates perfectly with our Citrus Blooms bundle and our Mediterranean Blooms DSP. So that's what we're going to use today. I thought that when I made my sample box, I thought that I had stuck my orange one in there, but apparently I did not. So, but it works with either lemon or orange. We're going to do the orange one today. So I'm going to set that one aside, but we're going to do the orange one today. So let's go ahead and get started with our, with the base for our holder. So I have a piece that is 11 inches by 2 1/4, and I'm going to grab my Simply Scored. Oh, a lot of stuff in the way. So I'm going to grab out my Simply Scored, and we're going to do some scoring only on the long side for this one. So we're going to score it at 1/2 inch, at 2, 3, 4 1/2, 7 1/2, and 9. I hope that's right. I think that's right. Let's start folding it up. Let's see if that's correct. Sometimes I make these projects a little bit further in advance, and then I kind of forget how I made them when it's time for the video. If you're liking this video, make sure that you subscribe to it. Subscribing is free for you, and you never miss a video that way. And it really, it helps me out as well. And I'm looking at this, and I think my score lines might be off. Yeah, that score line is not correct. So let's take a look at this again. Let me take a look at where my score line went wrong. So yeah. So if you can see, my score line for my project is back here. So I think I went, what is that, 1/2 inch? Let me look at my inches down here. Yeah, so I needed to score it at 7, not 7 1/2. So let me pull that out. Let's try that again. I'm going to have the measurements correct on the, oh, you know what? My measurements are correct. Look, I scored it at 7, and I was supposed to score it at 7 1/2. So this was my fault. So the measurements will be correct in my video description, so you can check that out. We're going to go ahead and go with this. Although I may cut another one because this one might be a little bit too folded. Let's see. It's gonna go together just like this. And you know what, I'm gonna cut another one and we're gonna rescore. So hold please, you know, this is how things go sometimes, and you just have to kind of go with the flow. So I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer. I'm gonna grab some pumpkin pie cardstock. We're gonna cut it at 2 1/4. And then I'm gonna get my Simply Scored back out. You can score it on your paper trimmer. I prefer to score it on my Simply Scored. I like, especially for 3D items, I like the score lines that the Simply Scored does. They're a little bit deeper, and so they work a little bit better. Okay, so let's try this again. 1/2 inch, 2, 3, 4 1/2, 7 1/2, and 9. But that shouldn't be correct either, because this should only be, no, that's correct. That should be 1 1/2. Okay. 7 1/2 and 9. Okay, much better. There we go. Whoops. Just rammed that into my desk. Okay, let's burnish these score lines. So just ignore that first part. It's funny, I get asked all the time, they're like, well, what you make is so perfect, and you know, how did you learn to do this? It's so good. And I'm like, you guys don't see what ends up in my trash, for sure. I make mistakes all the time. You guys just don't see that. Okay, so this is how our little holder is gonna fold up, and I'm gonna show this on the side so you guys can see that as well. So it's gonna fold up. We're gonna actually do a little die cut right in the little center here, and it's gonna fold up like this. Now, as you can see, this little piece is not long enough to go all the way down, so you're gonna need another piece of pumpkin pie that is 3 by 2 1/4, and that's gonna complete our whole thing to go all the way down. But before we start adhering this on, let's go ahead and die cut into that this little piece right here. And the one we're die cutting in, we have the 1/2 inch score line, which is going to be our glue tab. We're going to die cut into the second one, the one right next to the 1/2 inch score line. I'm trying to find my die, and I am using this little label die from the Greetings of the Season dies. These are in our online exclusives, and I have used these dies a ton. So even if you don't want to get the stamp set, those tag dies are worth their weight in gold. I have been using them on every single project, and I found that especially for this one, it was the perfect size to hold our hand sanitizer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up right between the 2 score lines, and I'm going to make sure it's even on left and right. Now it's going to be a tight fit, so you can see I don't have a lot of room on the left and the right sides, and it's pretty much in the middle of those 2 score lines, right next to that 1/2 inch score line. So we are going to run this through our cut and emboss machine. I'm just going to grab my little one because it's right here, and I have my plates right here, and we're just going to run this through, and we're just going to cut this out real quick. The little one is so handy to have. If you don't have the mini cut and emboss machine, that might be something you want to grab today on the free shipping day. It is so handy, and it's good for traveling. If you ever do crafting on the go, the mini ones are fantastic. And I have found that most of my dies actually fit in the mini one. Okay, so now we're going to peel this off. We have our little hole for our hand sanitizer, and we are going to reuse this tag for our project. We're going to save this, and this is actually the same tag that we're going to use for that. So don't get rid of that. We're going to use that piece. Okay, so I'm going to set that die aside, and let's assemble the actual hand sanitizer box. I'm going to use some strong glue. I didn't get that out in advance. I probably should have. There we go. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm going to just run it along this 1/2 inch tab right here. And there's no trimming on this. We are not trimming any tabs or anything. This is just going to go right onto our box here. Now, this is a little bit tricky. You just want to kind of make sure that it's nice and level. Go about an inch up. This is an inch tall, so you just want to go about an inch, and then once you're happy with it, you just want to adhere it down, just like that. Okay, and again, this piece will fold over just like that. Okay, we're going to stick our little hand sanitizer in there in just a second. We have our little our little box there. Before we stick our hand sanitizer in there, I have this closing with a little magnetic closure, and I'm gonna hide the magnets so that nobody sees them, so it's our little secret. So I'm gonna take a glue dot, and I have these little button magnets, and when I buy them, I go on Amazon and I just search button magnets, and they'll give you a ton of little sizes. These are about 3/8 of an inch, and they are super, super thin, and they're 3/8 of an inch wide. You can get 1/4 inch ones, you can get 1/2 inch ones. They have a ton of them. And so I'm going to just make sure that I adhere this to the opposite side. So they stuck together that way. So I'm going to make sure that I flip it and adhere it this way. Okay, I'm going to grab one of them with my Take Your Pick tool with the little pointy end. And I'm just going to stick that in and just kind of eyeball center. Like center's about here. And I'm just sticking it in and just pulling out my Take Your Pick tool and making sure that that magnet stays in there. So I don't know if you can see that. It's in there. Now you can probably adhere this down before you glue the back down. It's not hard either way you do it. We're gonna set this one aside. So it doesn't matter too much how you do it. All right, now I'm gonna put some adhesive on this flap. This is our front flap. So this is the front flap over here, and we are going to glue this piece on. This piece is 3 by 2 1/4. This is gonna be our front piece, and it's gonna go all the way up to that score line. So just line it up with that score line, just like that. And so now our little box will actually come together just like that. So what I wanna do is put the magnet on the front now. These little button magnets are very strong, and so it will work through a couple pieces of the cardstock here. And so I just have it on my Take Your Pick tool again, and you're gonna feel it kind of draw it to each other. And just make sure you have everything lined up nicely. Once it's there, just kind of pull that Take Your Pick tool out, and then it will all be stuck together, just like that. Okay, so that is probably the hardest part of this, is getting those magnets lined up, but even that wasn't very hard. And we have it on this piece now because when we put our DSP on it, it's gonna be completely hidden. See? Perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna stick my sanitizer in here because it works better when the box has something in it that has a little bit of stability. So this can go in here. It's gonna kind of rattle around. So to prevent that, I'm just gonna take a Stampin' Dimensionals and stick it right on the bottom, just like that. And this is just gonna hold it in place. It's gonna make sure that it doesn't fall out. Your recipient's gonna be able to pull this off, no problem. And I'm just going to line that up just like that, right in the center, and now it's not gonna wiggle around at all. It's not gonna fall out. That little Stampin' Dimensional is just doing wonders for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this up. All right, let's go ahead and stick our DSP on. I have 3 pieces of DSP, and this is from that Mediterranean's Bloom DSP pack, which, let me see, I don't think I have a full package. I have lots of cut up pieces, but they are gorgeous patterns with lots of the beautiful citrus patterns on one side, and then you have these beautiful blueprints on the other side, which is just stunning. So I have 3 pieces. I have one piece that is 2 by 1 3/4, 2 by 1 1/4. Then I have 2 by 2 3/4. And again, all those measurements are going to be in the video description. Now I used a different print on this one. So you can see I have like the more Night of Navy one here, and this one we have kind of a mosaic one. So I'm just using different patterns just to see what works. And we're going to adhere these down. Now if you wanted to use the orange side, you absolutely could, but I wanted the orange on our project to really pop off the project, so I'm going with these the blue patterns, which will coordinate so beautifully with our oranges. Okay, now the outside one, the biggest one, will go on the outside. So I'm going to just line that up just like this with the same border all the way around. That's going to sandwich that magnet in. Nobody's ever going to see it. Now the smallest one is going to go on the top. If you wanted to cut another one for the back, you could. You could cut another one for back here. I didn't do that. It would be the same size as this one. And then this last one is just going to go back here, just like this, just to kind of highlight our hand sanitizer in the back. So just like that, okay? So that's all our DSPs. We're going to close this up, Perfect. So we are ready to get to our stamping. Now, our orange is paper pieced together, and I don't know if you can see all that shine. I have gold embossed the image. I have gold embossed this image from the Citrus Bloom set, and let me show you that bundle that we're working with. So this one and my stamp set's right here. So these are the dies in the Citrus Blooms bundle, which you can get in my online store. This is in our annual catalog. I have loved this one. I've used this one a ton. And if you bundle it up and get the dies and the stamps, you'll save 10%. But you can see I stamped that and heat embossed the image in gold. And I did that in Granny Apple Green. And I've already die cut these. So you can see that beautiful gold embossing. This is a fun image to color, but it is a little bit time consuming to color. And if you are making maybe a few of these, maybe you don't want to color it. Maybe you don't want to spend that time coloring. So we're just going to use the cardstock. So I did it in Granny Apple Green. I have done it in Pumpkin Pie. And I did it in Daffodil Delight. And this one I've already started to trim up a little bit. So I started cutting the little flowers out of here. So we have the 2 buds from the bottom of the image and the 1 flower. So I just need to cut this other flower. So with paper piercing, we're just going to place the images over the other stamped images. So I'm cutting pretty close to these flowers. I want to make sure I don't cut into that gold emboss line. So I am leaving the slightest little edge around that gold emboss line of the flower, but I am cutting around the rest of it. We're just going to cut these little flowers out. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. Once we actually get it onto our image, everything's going to come together, even if there are a few imperfections. So use your paper snips. Paper snips are a great thing to get today. The paper snips are fantastic from Stampin' Up. They are nice and sharp. You will not regret having these. So you're going to get 2 flowers. You're going to get 2 little buds. We've already die cut this one. And now I'm going to cut out the orange from this one. You can die cut this as well, but you will still have to go in and do a little bit of fussy cutting around here. So I figure as long as I'm fussy cutting, I want that same edge. So I'm going to cut this off. Fussy cutting works best with smaller pieces, so just keep cutting as you go. And I'm not going to cut into the stem here. You'll see what I'm going to do with that in just a second. But I'm going to cut around the leaf here. And we're going to cover up this flower, so I'm not going to take time to cut into the flower. So I'm just going to kind of cut right across and then go back around the other side. So we kind of saved ourselves some steps there. The hardest part of the fussy cutting is the flowers. So we have our little flower there. Now I'm going to take my Pecan Pie Dark Stampin' Blend, and I'm just going to color that stem on there. You can even use the Stampin' Right markers, and I'm going to do the same on here just so that it's nice and continuous. Just color the stem all the way up, just like that. You can do this with any brown marker, a Stampin' Right marker, a Stampin' Blends. My Stampin' Blends happen to be right in front of me, so it's easy for me to grab those, but any marker will work. All right, so let's get this assembled. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to utilize my Take Your Pick tool in the putty end a lot for this. And I'm going to start with my orange because the flowers are going to go on top of that. So we're going to start with the orange. And I like liquid glue because I'm going to be able to move this around if I don't get it exactly right the first time. So I'm going to lift this up, and the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I line up those stems because we want that to line up correctly. And then I'll just kind of maneuver the side over here just to make sure the flower lines up. Let's turn it a little bit. Perfect. So we have our orange perfectly lined up. All right, well that orange sets, we can go in with our other flowers. So a little bit of glue on the little buds down here. And for this one, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. I'm just going to pick one up and just set that down. And you can use the other side of your Take Your Pick tool just to make sure that everything lines up in place. Pick that up with your putty end. This takes out a lot of the kind of like the fussy work with your fingers, the dexterity, if you use your Take Your Pick tool. So you can see how fun that looks already. It's coming to life so quickly. All right, now this flower up here, and you do have to kind of, the flowers look a little bit similar. This one is a little bit bigger, I think. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to hope that this is the correct flower. And I think we hit gold here. Perfect. So that's going to go right down. It's going to line up perfectly. And that liquid glue will hold these nice and secure, even these little tiny pieces. All right, now our last flower will go on. And all the petals look a little bit different. This petal has like a little pointy edge. So that is the like my guide petal that I am looking for. So on my die cut flower, I'm going to find that same little pointy edge here. Oops, let's see, that same pointy edge right there. So when I go to stick that down, it should line right up. And I did the same thing with this one. I kind of lined up this pointy petal right there. All right, so we have our orange all stuck down, ready to go. If you are making a bunch of these, I would just go ahead and heat emboss a bunch of these all at once and then just sit down and do all the fussy cutting. And then you can just assemble these all together. But isn't that so fun? You get all of the same colors, you get that fun dimension from the layers of cardstock, and you don't have to take all the time to color it. So it's perfect. All right, so we have that. Let's go ahead and stamp our greeting. This one we're gonna heat emboss in white. So it says, you're the best kind of person. So let's do that. So we have our little tag. I want the little hole on the left side. So I'm gonna, when I stamp it, I'm gonna make sure I use it on the left. And I'm gonna zoom out just a smudge. Okay, where's my stuff? Okay, so we have our Versamark ink. We have our stamp. I have my white embossing powder. I like to keep mine in these little tubs. I have little scoops in there. And I'm gonna use my embossing buddy. This is gonna get rid of any static on your paper, which is gonna give you a cleaner embossed look. So I'm gonna use that, and you can get that embossing buddy in the Embossing Additions Toolkit, which is sold in the online store. So let's go ahead and stamp this in Versamark. Now this is gonna be kind of a tight fit on here, so just do your best. So the end on the person is gonna go kind of all the way to the end, and make sure you're not stamping over the hole on for the ribbon. I hope that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna close on my ink pad. We'll bring in our embossing powder. And I'm trying to find my tweezers that came in my embossing toolkit, but I do not see them off the top of my head. So I'm gonna grab these other tweezers that I have here. But you do get a set of reverse tweezers in that embossing toolkit, but I'm just gonna use these ones that I have on my desk. I'm not sure where the other ones went. I'll have to investigate. They're probably like right in front of me. All right, perfect. The greeting's a little crooked, but you know what? We're gonna put it on the box crooked, so it's gonna be all okay. All right, now if you don't want to stamp on the tag after you die cut it, you can actually stamp it on a different piece of pumpkin pie and then die cut it, so it's nice and straight if you prefer that. But again, this is gonna go on our box a little bit crooked, so I'm not too worried about it. So we have our embossing powder on it. I'm gonna heat up my heat tool. I like to heat it up off to the side a little bit just to make sure that it gets nice and hot. It's gonna emboss a lot quicker if the heat tool is hot. And then we'll bring it over, and you'll see that that powder will start to melt, and it'll turn kind of a bright white. From like a powder, it will turn into a bright white. So we are there. Perfect. Embossing is one of those techniques that really just, it adds so much kind of character and personality. It makes it look so fancy. You have that glossy raised edge now. It's so fun. Okay, let's start assembling this thing. So we are going to stick our oranges on with some dimensionals. Boom, boom, boom. I'll grab a few of these. Don't go all the way to the edge. Probably 3 is good. Don't go all the way to the edge because some of the leaves are going to hang off, so you don't want to worry about those. Okay, peel off that backing. And then we're going to stick this on. I'm just going to kind of pull this up, and we're going to stick this on just like that. We don't want this to go past the bottom edge here. We want this to kind of, the stem to kind of go off to the left a little bit, so we have room for our tag right here. Okay. All right, now we're going to use some ribbon. This is the diagonal trim combo pack. So you get white and petal pink with this. I'm going to wrap this around like this, and then I'm going to pull this up from the one on the right, so from the side on the right that I've wrapped it around the front. I'm going to pull it up through the center of my tag here, maybe, there we go. Just like this. I'm going to pull enough through to tie a bow And of course the ribbon will fight me because we are on a video. Now to hold the tag in place, because I want to make sure that that tag stays where I want the tag to stay, and I want the bow to stay where I want the bow to go. So I'm actually going to put a dimensional right here, right above the leaf and the flower right there. And I am going to position, I'm not going to glue the ribbon down, but I'm going to position my tag exactly where I want it. Make sure that ribbon kind of goes behind, just like that. Okay, I'm going to pull just a little bit more, just so we have plenty. All right. So I'm going to lay this flat, and we are going to tie a bow. Maybe. Tying bows on camera. It is my nemesis. I'm going to pull the bow. I'm going to pull that knot to be right on top of the tag. I'm going to loop up, and I'm going to loop from behind to the front, and then that little loop will go right there. And that should give us a nice little bow. I'm just going to kind of twist it a little bit. You can always use glue dots to hold your bow in place. You are in charge of the bow. The bow is not in charge of you. So just keep that in mind. And I'm going to retie this because it's too sideways for me. Let's try this again. I'm going to start with this side this time. I don't like it so sideways. Let's try to go this way. It's going like up and down. I want it to go like side to side. There we go. That looks much better. There we go. I'm going to twist it a little bit that way. All right, adjust the little tails and just trim your ends and trim your ends. Trim that a little bit more of an angle. There we go. Perfect. So let's go ahead and move our ribbon out of the way, and that completes our project. Now, if you wanted to add some little embellishments to the center of the flowers, you could. If you wanted to just add some extra sparkle, you could. I don't think it really needs it because of all of that gold embossing powder. I think that it is pretty perfect as it is. I'm going to fluff these little bows. So there you go. There you have it. So do you have a preference on DSP? Do you like the solid blue one? Do you like the more mosaic one? I think I actually like this more solid blue one because this pattern is a little bit bigger and this takes up the whole thing, so it's harder to see that pattern. But however, I would be happy to receive either one of these. They are both completely gorgeous. So if you want to make your own little hand sanitizer box, you can head to my blog or look in the video description for all the measurements. They will be correct. I promise. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Don't forget to shop today during that free shipping special. You have until about 11:50 Mountain Time tonight to get those orders in. Orders over 75 will receive free shipping. Orders over 50 are going to receive those bonus dollars, and you receive bonus days coupons for every $50 you spend. So please don't hesitate to head over to my store and shop away. Make sure to check for that host code for extra rewards for you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That really helps me out. Share this with a friend if you like this crafty project, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.